All right. 好. Okay. So, good evening. Okay. So anyway, we just sorry, not evening. I thought it's 4 p.m. already. It's okay, just afternoon lah. Okay. So anyway, just start our seminar lah without any hesitation. So, before we officially start everything, we'll just explain a bit what is going to happen in your exam. Okay, because in your exam, this is your first exam, I mean Form 4 and Form 5 exam after your Form 3 because the format is going to be very, very different. Okay, so look at here, what is going to change in your Form 4. So basically, I'll just slightly go through the exam formats first lah, just to let you know what is going to happen in future. So in your upcoming exam, the total marks in your science will be 120. Okay, this is your total marks. So your objective will stands for 40 40 marks. Okay, so your objective is for 40 marks, which is your kertas satu lah. Okay, then in the end you have kertas dua. So kertas dua, right? We have quite subjective. Your subjective, right? You have three sections. Okay, so you have section A, section B, and section C. So bahagian A, bahagian B, and bahagian C. So in between these three bahagians, right? Will be slightly different from what we faced before in your Form 3. Okay, so we no longer fill in the blanks. Okay, so in your bahagian A, we go format questions lah, which means you're going to answer the questions based on the format lah. Okay, so in here, roughly will take you 20 marks. Okay, so total you have 5 questions. So in the end, you have section B. Section B is your comprehension, which means your science pemahaman lah. How far you understand about the science, then you fill in the blanks, like you answer in sentences, okay? So comprehension, like what you have done in your Form 3 section C. So you move it in section B already. So in the end, this part I think roughly will be like 40 marks. Then totally total you have how many questions are? Four this one is 4 questions, sorry. 4 questions, each question stands for 5 marks. Then for here you have 6 questions. Each questions will be that like 10, not 10, 10 marks. No. Okay. So each question will be allocated differently. Okay. Some will be 8 lah. Okay. Some will be 7 lah. Okay. It depends how the uh teacher, okay, how the teacher allocate the marks lah. Okay. So total you have 6 questions here. Okay. Then in the end you have section C. So section C is slightly different from what we had before. Okay. Section C total we have 2 questions. Actually it got 3 lah. Okay, this one is also experiment question, so called. Okay, experiment question. So in here, right, total you have 3 questions. Okay, but in these 3 questions, right, one is compulsory. Okay, so two is optional. Optional means you have 2 questions, then you choose either one to answer lah. Okay, so total here will be 3 questions. So in the end, actually, they give you 3 questions, but actually what you have to answer is only got two. So only 2 questions you need to answer lah, basically from here. Then total marks for here is around 20 as well. So total okay, total here, total here for your whole entire kertas 2 will be 80 marks. So 80 marks plus 40, total you have 120. Then this is your final marks lah, then converted into 100%. Okay, so this is what we have, okay, in your exam. Okay, so in here, why I going to explain, why I explain this thing to you? Okay, because okay, first thing first, you can see in your seminar notes, right? Okay, we included the objective, okay, questions to you. So objective questions, these 40 marks is very, very easy to get, but you need practice. You need to see how the question will ask you based on different chapters. Okay, from chapter 1 to chapter 4, they'll ask different way of questions in objective. So you have to practice yourself. We attach answer for you. Okay, so for like your paper 2, okay, kertas dua lah. Okay, so your format base and these compulsory questions, right? Okay, we go through with format. Okay, the compulsory question in your section A, right, is format based, which means among the 120 marks, right, 30 marks is secure, which means free. free marks. So the point is you have to get familiar yourself about the format stuff lah. Okay, so then the optional question, you have to write sentences, write paragraphs, yes, for sure. Then for your bahagian B, okay, just fill in the blanks, whichever based on your own comprehension. Okay, so this is why you do revision. But this one and this one will focus more on these two things. Okay, on how you deal with the experiment question, how you answer based on the format stuff lah. Okay, so one more thing before we officially start, when you do revision, right? Okay, basically when you do revision, we don't randomly take out the notes and you just flip the notes or the textbook, just close the textbook and you get into the exam. Okay, so it doesn't work in this way. All right, you have to know in your exam, right, there are something to do and don'ts. Okay, there are do and don'ts. So based on here, right, first thing first, there's no textbook. Please, okay, throw away a textbook in your science exam. We don't use any textbook here in your science exam. Yes, with notes, we can go through the notes, but we don't go through the textbook. Yes, we go through the exercises that attach. Okay, that attach in your seminar notes, we do exercises. Okay, we will do exercises, but actually in your revision, right, I'm not asking you to write all the sentences in your exercises. Not all the questions are compulsory answer. Okay, so we can do revision in a way smarter. For example, you go through the exercises, but you see answer is attached. Okay, we attach the answer for you as well, section A until section C. So, meanwhile, when you try to revision through the exercises, actually, I'm not asking you to write all the sentences inside. I'm asking you to read through the questions. Okay, you ask yourself, do I know how to deal with these kind of questions or not? Okay, if yes, okay, yes, you know how to deal with the questions. Okay, you go through the answers, you know everything, all good. Okay, but in a way, now I look at the question, I totally don't know what the question is asking. I don't know which kind of answer I should give. Okay, so this will be an issue. All right, so then how? Okay, same lah. You have the answer to support you. Then we show you the answer. Oh, okay, or rupa, okay, this is what I have to write in the exam. So you know how to write. But I'm not asking you to write, I'm not asking you to write in the exercise actually, because you waste time whenever you write something. So you just read through. Oh, this question I know. Okay, this question I know. Oh, okay. Or this question I don't know. Okay, look at the answer. Oh, I know already. Okay. I'm just asking you to go through the questions, not asking to write through the questions. Look at the difference. So yes, we do something like this, okay, in your revision. So you make it quick. If you just simply read through the notes, and you read through the exercises, that will happen. Okay, yes, I'm so knowledgeable. I know what everything the notes is talking about, but when the question asked in a different way, because questions can be tricky, then you never get familiar with the questions, right? Then you GG already. Okay, you mess up all everything. So plus, okay, two, yes, what to memorize and what not to memorize. So yes, we do memorize on the name. We memorize the name. We don't memorize the theory. For example, why you do Heimlich maneuver, why you do CPR. Okay, so the reason behind we don't memorize, we understand. Okay, we understand the theory. You have a lot of names to memorize. Okay, so your Heimlich maneuver, speedball manometer, okay, the CPR full name, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, all the names here you have to memorize, okay, but not the theory. Plus the format as well. Okay, this is the first time you get contact with the format, which I'll tell you later how to deal with the format. Okay, so we don't really memorize the theory anyway. Go through with the format, go through with the names. Okay, that's all. All right, so not like before I don't know, like some people they just like, hey, I book out the textbook, I flip, then I close the back textbook, I just go to exam. Okay, it doesn't work in this way. In the end, you come out, you'll see the result coming out, right? It's not the one you want. So that's why revision has its own method as well. So go to your seminar notes, right? Okay, so you see, okay, the notes is very, very summarized. Okay, everything is so clear. I'll just highlight the point that is super, super important to you. Okay, and I will not explain, okay, the details to you already. Okay, you got what I mean? Okay, I won't be explaining all the stuff to you. You know why? Okay, because we have running out of time already. Okay, so the time will be more precious if I show you how to deal with the format questions lah. Okay, I want you to score in the format part. So basically, I'll just circle lah which part is important, which part is not. Okay, so for chapter 1, the important stuff is here. Know all the equipments. You have to know all the equipment name, but not the function. The function is common sense. We don't really memorize common sense stuff. Remember, theory we don't memorize. So same goes to the huge equipment. Okay, laminar, float, cabinet, okay, fuel chamber, eye wash station, all these kind of things. Go through the name, yes, but not the function. Okay, but you have to know anyway what is safety shower. How do we use safety shower? Okay, eye wash station. Okay, know the name. All right. So next thing is here. Okay, your where is it? Yeah. Okay, your waste. Okay, your waste is categorized into few. Okay, few category, which you cannot avoid as well. You have to know this thing. Okay, so your category has different part. Okay, one can be thrown into sink, one cannot be thrown into sink. Okay, so you see, okay, one can be thrown to sink, one cannot be thrown to sink. So have to differentiate what is the example of the substance that you can throw into the sink and the other one you cannot dispose into the sink. Okay, so you have to know lah, but this one is common sense as well. Just read through. Read through, no need to memorize. The thing you have to memorize is what? The classes. Okay, what is the different classes between the category of waste? Okay, for example, category A, sharp, category A, non-sharp, okay, C, organs, D, liquid. Go through them lah. And then how you're going to deal with these things. Yes, okay, you have to be familiar with this as well. The examples, okay, how do you manage this thing? Okay, autoclave or not. Autoclave means you're going to like kill all the germs before you dispose it. Okay, autoclave means you throw it into the machine will kill the bacteria for you. All right, so go through lah. No need to memorize all the stuff here. Okay, so this one, just read through. No need to memorize. Okay, so yeah, but the next one is here as well. Just read through. What is the possible accident is going to happen in the lab? Okay, so as well, just go through. No need to memorize. But the point is, you have to know what is the difference, okay, between spillage of the chemical substance and the mercury. When you spill mercury and you spill the other chemical stuff, the way to deal with them is totally different. Okay, when you spill mercury, you cannot touch the mercury. You have to ask the bomba, you have to ask the fire department, come over and deal with the mercury. Okay, when you spill random chemical, just make sure you scoop the chemical and you dispose it lah. Okay, so yeah, the fire extinguisher matters as well. All the fire extinguisher have to know. Okay, especially the dry powder. Okay, dry powder is common sense. I once said, whenever the questions has no restriction, the question didn't mention that you cannot use rice powder. Okay, then you can go through with dry powder. If the question did mention you cannot use dry powder, then you write the other answer lah. Okay, but the question didn't mention, right? Just go through with dry powder because dry powder is the best one. Okay, it applies to all different type of fire. Okay, so as well, if you cannot use dry powder, then you can try consider ABC because ABC usually can apply on class A, class B, and class C fire. Okay, and ABC has a lot of benefit lah. You have to know what is the benefit of having ABC. Okay, so here, uh, wait yep, this one. The type of fire you have to go through as well, class A to class F. Okay, solid, liquid, gas, metal, electronic, gas, fats. Okay, so go through all of them. Then how you deal with the fire extinguisher? How are you going to use the fire extinguisher? So 4 steps we are talking about lah. Pull, aim, squeeze, sweep. Okay, so PASS lah. So in BM, I highlighted the first word as a keyword to you. Tanggalkan, you pull. Halakan, you aim. Tekan, you squeeze or you press. Ratakan, you sweep. Sweep evenly. Okay, to the fire source. All right, so know how to use the fire extinguisher lah. Plus the audit. Somehow the question, they very likely to ask you, how do you audit the fire extinguisher? Audit means you do checking. You do checking on the fire extinguisher. Okay, so how would you do the checking? Okay, so first thing first, expiry date. Okay, expiry date, the type of fire extinguisher, the number, the location. Okay, you go through. All right. So this one is very uh famous question nowadays. The question will ask you to DIY a fire extinguisher. Okay, so you have to know how to sketch. Okay, the soda bicarbonate. Okay, you add it into water with vinegar. Then in the end, it becomes a simple fire extinguisher. Okay, that is able to produce carbon dioxide. Okay, so the process here is mainly producing carbon dioxide. So the end of the chapter one. Okay, then we go to chapter two. Chapter 2, very, very least thing to go through only. Okay, you just go through the cardiopulmonary resuscitation, CPR, and the Heimlich maneuver. Okay, what you have to know here is the reason, that's the source, or what is the source, or what is the reason that cause certain people need CPR. Okay, so what is the situation? What is the reason? What is the source? Okay, that causes certain people to need CPR. You go through. No need to memorize as well. Just read through. Make sure you know the words. Then can already. Okay. So how to do CPR? Okay, this one no need to memorize all the content here. No. We just go through the main steps. You check the response, you open the airway, you do chest compression, mouth to mouth resuscitation, you repeat the process. Okay. We don't memorize all the details. Okay. Just go through the main points. Quite simple, right? Okay, then the science concept here. Okay, why you do CPR? Okay, you do CPR is mainly two steps, right? One, you're compressing the chest. Okay, you giving pressure to the chest. Two, you blow the air into the mouth. So mouth to mouth resuscitation. So in behind, right, you do chest compression because you want to do artificial blood circulation, which means you pump the heart artificially. Okay, so the blood will flow lor. Okay, manually help the people to flow the blood lah. Okay, so mouth to mouth resuscitation is going to make sure that there is gases enter the body. So when there's gases enter the body and you make sure the blood is flowing, then eventually you can stop lah. Okay, or else you can say you can save and delay the death of that certain people. Okay, so one more thing is here your Heimlich maneuver. Heimlich maneuver same lah, same as your CPR. Know the reason, know the reason of having CPR, of having Heimlich maneuver. Okay, know why he get choked. Okay, know what is the steps. Okay, just read through the steps and then know why these steps is able to help him to speed up the what is so called the foreign substances lah. Okay, so you can see the last sentence is telling you like this. When you give pressure to the lung, when you give pressure to the lung, okay, the pressure, right, eventually is going to push the foreign object to be ejected, okay, to be spitted lah. So they can spit out the foreign substance. So this point is going to tell you everything lah. Okay, so when the question asks you, hey, why upon doing Heimlich maneuver, the people is able to speed up the foreign substance, the bahan tercekik lah in BM. Then you can say because you give pressure to the pressure will force the bendasing. Okay, will force the foreign substance to come out lah. That's all. All right, so very simple for chapter 2. So your main protagonists will be chapter 1, chapter 3, and chapter 4. Okay, these three chapters will be coming out a lot lah. So chapter 3 is something about body health. Okay, so body health, you have to know what is the normal body temperature. Okay, know the thermometer. Okay, so we have 4 thermometers here. Okay, clinical thermometer, laboratory thermometer, rectal thermometer, the one enter your anus. Okay, the last one will be the what is it called? The infrared thermometer, the one we had during MCO. Okay, so out of all the thermometer, right, the only thing that you have to take note is what? The pencerutan, the king. Okay, the king. King is going to use it to what is it called? To control the body temperature to control the temperature whenever you remove the thermometer, to avoid the temperature fall too fast. Okay, so if the temperature fall very soon, you're unable to get an accurate result. That's why we have to make it a kink, okay, to control your temperature once you remove the thermometer. All right. So in the end, all these 4, right, the thermometer stuff lah. Okay, the question is very, very likely to ask you what? Bandingkan dan bezakan. Okay, they ask you to do compare and contrast, which they ask you, what is the compare and contrast? Give the compare and contrast, okay, for two thermometers, randomly two lah. Okay, then you have to write off what are the similarity and the differences between them. So in BM called bandingkan dan bezakan. Okay, bandingkan dan bezakan. So you have to give similarity and differences. Okay, so between the two thermometers. The next one is your kadar nadi, the pulse rate. Okay, pulse rate, I give you a keyword called wrist. BM called as pergelangan tangan. A lot of people, they want to mention wrist in BM, but they always forgot the word pergelangan tangan. So the question asks you, which part we often use to detect pulse rate? Then you have to say, lor, the wrist. Okay, so then you have to know what are the reasons, what are the factors that is going to affect your pulse rate. Okay, cannot avoid lah. Gender, age, activity, health level, go through. Okay, so the blood pressure you have to know as well. Sphygmomanometer. Okay, sphygmomanometer is able to measure your blood pressure as well as the heart rate lah. If your heart good, then blood pressure good lor. If your heart is not good, then blood pressure not good lor. Okay, or else the blood vessel issue, okay, then you can mention. Then you have to know, okay, normal people, you have systolic pressure and diastolic pressure. Okay, systolic pressure is the greater one lah, which means your heart is pumping out the blood. So your heart is pumping out the blood is flowing very, very quick, ma. Okay, then in this way, it is considered as the greater value here. The lower value here means your heart relaxed, then the blood flow back into your heart. Okay, that is what is so-called diastolic pressure. So this is a normal human blood pressure lah. 120/80 mmHg. So the question asks you, right, what is the normal temperature? Normal blood pressure, okay, for the heart. So not heart lah, for the blood pressure lah. Okay, then you can say no. Okay, 120/80 mmHg. So this is the pressure lah. All right. Then systolic, diastolic, yes. Then this one, we don't need to memorize one. High pressure or low pressure, they didn't really ask you this thing lah. Okay, they don't really ask this thing one. But yeah, BMI is important. Objective, they ask you BMI. A lot of people, they get confused. They always forget, kg divided by meter lah. I got my answer. Or else the question will give you, somehow the question will give you in cm, 168 cm. You forgot to change it into meter. Then just be like, oh, 1 kg, 60 kg divided by 168 square. Wow, then your answer eventually will become very, very small. Okay, the value become very, very small. Then you found out your answer is totally wrong. Don't forget to change the SI unit. Okay, change it to meter. Kg divided by meter and square. Okay, if objective, right, they'll give you 4 options. One of the options must be coming out with the answer without square one. So if you just randomly calculate it with your calculator and eventually you didn't do any any double check stuff, right? Okay, you circle this one, you got the wrong answer. Okay, so BMI, they'll ask you obese or not. They will ask, okay, whether you're underweight, obesity or not. They'll go through, you have to go through this thing. Okay, underweight or not, desirable weight or not, or obese. You have to go through lah. Okay, cannot avoid one. Then how to increase your weight, how to decrease your weight. This one doesn't really matter lah. Just go through with your common sense. Okay, increase your body mass. You eat more food lah. Healthy food, nutritious food. Decrease your body mass, do some exercise, eat clean food, avoid sugar, salt, fats, food lah. See, very simple. Okay, then the last one, wait. Okay, the last one here will be green technology. A lot of people, okay, they really, really mess up this chapter because they don't know what to go through, what to understand. They feel like so many words I don't want to read. Basically, this entire chapter is about only 6 points to go through. Okay, 6 points is go through and 4 of them are connected. Okay, so the first one is your green technology lah. You have to know what is green technology. Green technology means you are going to use certain products, certain system, okay, to conserve, to preserve your environment, as well as minimizing the human negative activity. Okay, so minimizing the effect of human activity lah. So that's all. This is all about the green technology. You do something, okay, to save your environment and reducing the negative impact come from human activity. Okay, so in short, it means in this way. Okay, so a lot of things can be considered as green technology. Electric vehicle, uh, energy efficiency method, like you practice energy efficiency can be a kind of green technology. Okay, so you'll be like using what is it called? Using electric vehicle, using solar energy, all these kind of things they are considered as green technology lah. Okay, so the importance and the examples I think don't really need lah. Just go through by your own common sense. Okay, if you feel like I don't like to be a good people to the environment. Okay, the environment doesn't issue to me. Then you have to read through this thing. If you be like environment I know how to save environment. Okay, so don't need to read through already. Then the one more thing is here, the energy efficiency. You have to go through what is kecekapan tenaga. You have to read through this thing. So basically, kecekapan tenaga is refers to what? Refers to you use the least energy to maximize your work. In short, it meant this thing. Okay? You use the least energy to do the maximum job, maximum work. That's all for energy efficiency. Okay, so you see very, very simple compared to the other chapters lah, as you can see. Okay, so same the kepentingan, the importance here, just ask yourself, why do I do energy efficiency? Okay, why do I save energy? To reduce pollution, okay, to save money, all these kind of things can be written one lah. All right, so okay, come to your social scientific issue. A lot of people they will be like, this one is so terrifying. I don't want to face this thing. Okay, actually, it is not that tough. I can show you something like this. Where is it? Where is it? Okay, so wait, where is my yeah? Okay, I already summarized both English and BM1 for you. Okay, I give you some time to do a screenshot upon necessary. Okay, so this is your rest part of your chapter 4, the rest part. Then for English, it's here. Okay, so you see, things come with very easy, very simple. Okay, yeah, here is it. Okay, so from here, because I'm going to show you something first. Let me change the orientation. Okay, just now I mentioned, right? In your chapter 4, we're only covering about 6 points among them. Okay, so 1, green technology, 2, energy efficiency, kecekapan tenaga, 3, 4, 5, 6, they all come from here. You have to know all the 4 major sector. Okay, we are talking about social scientific issue. Okay, so the sectors are here. Okay, energy sector, transportation sector, pengangkutan, pertanian dan perhutanan, agriculture and forestry. Okay, as well as your pengurusan sisa dan sisa air, the waste and the wastewater. Okay, so coming from here, right, what you have to get familiar is, okay, these are the sectors, you know all these words, right? Energy, what are the energy we're using now? Okay, the energy that we are using now, right, is mainly comes from burning fossil fuel. Correct or not? So this is my issue because this word social scientific issue okay, actually you can just ignore the social scientific lah. Just go through with the word issue. Okay, what are the issues from the sector of energy, from the sector of transportation? So the question is, what are the issue? So ask yourself, for example, energy. Okay, in terms of energy, we are now using fossil fuel as the main energy source. So this will produce a lot of carbon dioxide and harm the environment. Plus, okay, we are going to reduce the what is it called? The energy or the resources, natural resources in our country. So because fossil fuel is a kind of natural sources, natural resources in the country. So you reduce the natural resources in the country, then in future, you see, okay, you are getting less of this kind of energy. So this is your issue. How to solve? The question I ask you, what are the application that appears based on your issue? So you can say, oh, okay, now you say, oh, you want to conserve or preserve energy, then what you can do? Solar energy, wind energy. Okay, you say you want to reduce pollution, then you can do what? You can do energy efficiency. Okay, you can do like what is it called? Appliances that comes with label. Okay, label electric appliances. So this is what you can do lah. Comes from the solution. Okay, so you see, everything comes very very easy lah. Okay, second thing is your transportation. So transportation, okay, so transportation is what? Okay, transportation. Uh, you are going to release a lot of carbon dioxide as well because of the car is burning the fossil fuel as well. Okay, so this will be your issue. Then how you solve the issue? You want to reduce carbon dioxide, then you have to reduce the burning of fossil fuel. Then from here, you can say you use electric vehicle. Okay, you use public transport to reduce the release of carbon dioxide. You do walking, you bicycling, you cycling. Okay, you do carpooling. So this is your solution. Okay, basically you see all these terms actually we don't really need to memorize it. Just ask yourself, what are the solutions? Okay, that comes from the issue that I mentioned. Agriculture and forestry. Okay, agriculture is your pertanian So coming from pertanian, what do we have? Okay, mainly we are talking about the chemical fertilizers, the pesticides, okay, as well as deforestation or you burn forests. So about the forest and the agriculture part, we are talking about this. Okay, so all these things, right? You cause land pollution lah, you cause water pollution lah, air pollution lah, blah blah blah. Just mention, further elaborate this thing. What global warming okay, so greenhouse effect I can mention one. Okay, so how do you solve this thing? You can mention we do reforestation, we do biological control. Okay, so organic fertilizers, you strengthen the law. Okay, so to solve this thing. Okay, all these methods are basically all these pink color words they are considered as a kind of green technology lah. You know, as I said, green technology is not just a product. It can be a way, a method, a system. Okay, so this is where we say, oh, okay, the green technology. So you see, basically, walking can be green technology as well because it helps. Okay, it helps to reduce the carbon dioxide in the air. So lastly, waste and wastewater. Okay, waste and wastewater management lah. Okay, so waste and wastewater is about what? Okay, what are the waste that human producing? Paper lah, plastic bag lah, plastic product lah. Okay, sewage. Okay, sewage means the dirty water. Okay, so these are the issue that cause different pollution. Then you further elaborate which kind of pollution you are having that comes from here. Water pollution, land pollution. Again, you repeat the process lah. Okay, so to solve this thing, we can do what? We do recycle, okay, kita semula, then you can say expanding the product life cycle, which means one product usually you use 5 years, now you use 10 years lah. Then you didn't buy new thing, you didn't create more rubbish, you didn't create more waste. Then yes, this is a kind of great technology lah. Or else you can say you do filter, you filter the water before you discharge it. Okay, so these are the way, okay, that we say you deal with chapter 4. So you see, chapter 4, like so many words actually can be summarized into this. So we don't really memorize, as I said. Just read through and you ask yourself whether you have the issue and you have the solution to deal with the sector or not. Okay, so find issue in the sector and you deal with the solution. Okay, this is how we talk about the what is so called chapter 4 lah. All right. So then, okay, after all the revision part on your notes, right, then we have to go through with the format stuff. I'll do slightly some explanation on the format stuff lah to make sure you understand what is going to happen in your upcoming exam. So, okay. So this is your bahagian A and bahagian C format. Okay. So, since you know, right, this format is not really familiar to you because your form 3 has no chance to come up with these kind of questions. So starting from form 4 and form 5, right? Okay, the format will change until your SPM, you use this format. So I slightly explain to you what they are in this part lah. So for those who really need a screenshot, right? Okay, I'll just present it to you first. Okay, 3 seconds. Okay, so if you need to do a screenshot, you can go through with this lah. All right. Then here, you can do another screenshot as well. So 3 seconds, 3 seconds. All right. So, uh, okay, when it comes to the explanation, right? Okay, first thing first, there's something you cannot make it wrong and you cannot get confused among the section A and section C. Okay, which is the manipulated variable and responding variable. Okay, these two things you cannot confuse one. Manipulated variable pun boleh ubah dimanipulasi, responding variable pun boleh ubah bergerak balas. Okay, these two things you must be very, very clear on what are they, on how you are going to use them in the questions. So manipulated variable means what? Two factors in the experiment that has to be different. Okay, they has to be different. Okay, which is so-called dimanipulasi. So dimalarkan, we go to bergerak balas first lah. Bergerak balas means responding variable. Okay, responding variable means what are the things that we are going to test in your experiment. Okay, so in this specific experiment, what we are going to test, okay, what are the result that we wish to see? Okay, somehow the question, they will ask you to give a manipulated variable and responding variable in different way. For example, they will say, nyatakan faktor yang perlu diperhatikan. Faktor yang perlu diperhatikan in English means factor that has to be observed. Okay, so faktor yang perlu diperhatikan means what? They are asking for bergerak balas. They are asking for the responding variable. What are the variables that, based on your observation, okay, that is required to fill in? So responding variable. So when it comes to manipulated variable, pun boleh ubah dimanipulasi. Okay, so they will ask in different way as well. Nyatakan faktor yang perlu diubah dalam eksperimen tersebut. Okay, so please state the factor that has to be changed. Factor that has to be changed in the experiment means they are asking for manipulated variable. So some of the students, they will be like getting confused. Hey, why somehow they changed the word that they didn't mention this word before? Okay, then suddenly come out one. Actually, they're asking for the thing manipulated variable or responding variable. So constant variable means what? Constant variable means in the experiment, right? To make sure your experiment is fair, what is the thing that has to be fixed? So they ask you as well lah. Okay, so please state the factor that has to be constant, that has to be fixed in the experiment. Nyatakan faktor yang perlu ditetap di dalam eksperimen. So this is what is so called constant variable and in BM boleh ubah dimalarkan. So you can see in my format, right? Okay, I use MV to represent the manipulated variable and I use RV to represent the responding variable. Okay, so all of the format here is mostly and mainly, okay, need you to apply the MV and RV into the questions, which means if you get the wrong MV or the wrong RV, either one of them, okay, you are going to mess up all the questions here. You get no marks. So you see how important okay, to get the correct MV and correct RV. But okay, however, if you want to say, I scared to get the wrong MV and RV in my exam, okay, but actually no risk lah, because at least later you can see the questions. They have got two part to show you the MV and RV, so you can cross check whether it is correct or not. I'll show you how to do cross check stuff later lah. Okay, my screen is freezing. Wait I reshare my screen for a while. All right. So we go to hypothesis. Okay, so hypothesis, right? You see, hypothesis can be classified into two parts. Okay, the one can be measured, which means you can apply the more, the less, the higher, the lower. So this is what we can measure. We able to measure. Okay, so for example, what is it called? The more vigorous the exercise, the higher the pulse rate we get. Fair enough. So the more, the more. PM is so-called semakin semakin. But if your teacher did mention that you cannot use semakin semakin, then you go it with jika maka also can. Okay. So but if your question is unable to get measured one, okay, so you cannot measure the question, which means I give you an example. Okay. Uh I give you two plants. Okay, so these are same plants lah. Okay, so one I put it in a box, one I put it under the sun. Okay, so based on here, the result of course you know lah. Okay, the one with sun is going to survive. The one stay in the box is going to die. Okay, so now the question is asking you to give hypotheses. So how to give hypotheses based on these like questions? Then you can say, oh, okay, you see, I cannot say the more the sunlight, okay, the more the is going to survive, or the higher chance the plant is going to survive. Because based on this experiment, right, it is not about the more the sun, it is about the presence of sunlight. Okay, the presence of sunlight, kehadiran cahaya. So you cannot say semakin banyak kehadiran cahaya because there is no semakin banyak. There is either yes or no only. Okay, so based on you, how to answer? When you cannot use semakin semakin, then you have to go through with the one cannot measure, which you do comparison. Okay, you do comparison based on their manipulated variable on the responding variable. For example, you can see, okay, my way to answer, plants with sunlight, this is my first manipulated variable with sunlight, the other one without sunlight. Okay, plants with sunlight is able to survive because in the end, what I want is the plant's condition. So in the end, this plant is going to survive compared to berbanding dengan plants without sunlight. So you see, tumbuhan dengan matahari akan hidup selepas eksperimen berbanding, you do compare, okay, tumbuhan yang uh, tumbuhan yang tanpa matahari. The plants with water is able to survive compared to the plants without water. So this is what we say, you do comparison. You do comparison, okay, between the two manipulated variables with the responding variable. Okay, so later on we have questions to show you lah. Okay, what are the scenario on and how you're going to deal with the questions whenever it comes can measure and it cannot be measured. Okay, so pemerhatian observation. Observation means you see. Okay, observation means something that you have to base on the table or diagram lah. Okay, just write down whichever the result you can see on the table or on the diagram. Okay, just take the result lah. Inference. So inference, the format of inference is what? Observation happens because of manipulated variable. We use back the plant there. Okay, you can say the plant with water will survive. Okay, plant with water will survive is your observation. Pemerhatian. Okay, happens because of the presence of sunlight. The presence of sunlight is your manipulated variable. Terbalik lah, you can say yang tumbuhan yang tanpa air akan mati. This is your pemerhatian. Disebabkan oleh ia tidak ada cahaya or dia tidak mempunyai matahari. Also can. Okay, so operational definition, we'll go through later. Okay, this one is actually quite simple lah. Just fill in the blanks whichever is possible. Okay, for example, the question asks you, please give the operational definition for pulse rate. Okay, then pulse rate will be your subject. So pulse rate is a kind of what? You ask yourself, what is pulse rate? Pulse rate is a process, substance, principle, value, or phenomena. Okay, which one is more suitable? You can say, pulse rate is a kind of phenomena, okay, that causes your observation. So you can say, which one has a higher pulse rate, or okay, or you can just randomly say greater pulse rate after exercise, based on the question, what is the observation? Okay, after the time or process. If the question is given with time 10 minutes, then you write 10 minutes. If the question is given time, 1 minute, you write 1 minute. If no time, then you just randomly give the process, after activity, after experiment, you write this way. So later we see whether got questions or not. We have to go through this operation definition. Then precautionary steps. Okay, when you go to precautionary steps, right, the answer is make sure. You make sure something is same. Okay, so precautionary steps, or when the question asks you how to control the manipulated variable, how to control the responding variable, the answer is always same. The format is always using memastikan or using make sure. You make sure something is there, something has been done. Okay, if the question asks you to make what is the precautionary step to make sure the experiment is fair. Okay, talking about fairness, then we have to talk about the constant variable. Okay, make sure the constant variable is same. Make sure the safety procedure is done. But you have to write which kind of safety procedure you have to mention. Okay, when it comes to hypothesis, okay, no, sorry. When it comes to relationship, you just use back the first hypothesis okay, which is the one you can measure, the more the less. Just use back that one in the relationship question. Okay, aim to study the relationship between your MV and RV. Just fill in the blanks. What is the MV? What is the RV? You fill in the blanks. Untuk mengkaji hubungan antara MV dan RV. Okay, lastly, okay, pernyataan masalah. This one often appears in your section C compulsory question. Okay, this one is 100% question Usually section C compulsory question, right? They'll ask you this question at first. Okay, so what is the problem statement, or please state the problem statement in this experiment. Then you have to ask question already. How does the MV affect your RV? Bagaimanakah MV mempengaruhi RV? That's all. Okay, so these are the format that we are going to use later. So for better experience on the next step, like question stuff, right? Okay, please prepare this thing as well, okay, beside you, so that when I speak, right, you're able to catch up okay? Not be like, yeah, this one format, I forgot what he said just now, then you lost already. You prepare one beside, then whenever I explain to you, you get what I mean, So, Valerie, you are using BM or English to answer the science, if not mistaken, it's BM, right? Yeah, okay. Then I try to focus more answer on BM Okay, since you are the major here. Okay, so I don't really write in English. Maybe I will, but let's see how. Okay, so you go to your seminar questions, and I want you to go to page 20. Okay, page 20. So we'll focus on the experiment question first, the section A and section C, rather than the other chapters, because this one, okay, is not so familiar to you. That's why we have to go through first. Once you go through everything, this one, you feel like, oh, okay, a bit already, then we go to the bahagian B, which is the comprehension part Okay, we go section A and section C first. So the first question, remember, in your bahagian A, always make sure in your bahagian A, you have MV and RV. You have both MV and RV. Find this thing first. You verify MV and RV first before you go through anything. Okay, because This one is very important. You get the wrong MV and RV, you mess up the entire question. Okay, so you see, uh, it asks you, okay, to give sekumpulan pelajar mengkaji kesan aktiviti fizikal terhadap kadar nadi manusia. You read through the question. Okay, so then you look at the table. Usually, got table, refer to the table because the table is very, very straightforward. Okay, it directly tell you what is the journey's activity and what is the heart rate count is going to happen. Okay, in this question. So usually lah, we would say usually the left hand side will be your MV, the right hand side will be your RV. Okay, the left part of the table will be your MV, and the right part of your table will be your RV. So based on this one, right, you'll be like, do I need to double check? Of course lah. Okay, because different tables somehow they might appear with different expression, correct or not? So when you go to the journeys activity MV, right, how do I verify this thing? You read back the question. You read back the question. Okay, dijalankan oleh sekumpulan pelajar untuk mengkaji kesan aktiviti fizikal. The effect of physical activity on the pulse rate. So of course lah, the effect of physical activity, different activity. So this is my manipulator variable because talking about MV, it is all about different. What are the different things? Okay, talking about RV is about the thing that you are going to test, right or not? The kadar nadi is the thing because you want to test kesan aktiviti physical on kadar nadi. So this is your RV. You get these two things first. Okay, so only you go through with the questions lah. Based on here, okay, the question say berdasarkan jadual di atas, okay, manakah murid yang mempunyai kadar denyutan jantung yang paling tinggi? Okay, just answer lor. Student D lah. Very obvious mah. Among all the exercises, all the activities, okay, so student D has the greatest heart rate lah. Okay, so state one reason. Okay, basically you see this one is actually your observation. Your observation. Okay, your observation, and the reason is actually the inference lah. Okay, so why student D has the has the like greatest heart rate. Okay, of course you cannot say because he's doing different activity. Okay, like you see now this question we are not going to talk about the activity first because four of them they are doing different activity. Okay, like these three activity, these four students they are doing the same thing. So we cannot compare lah based on the journeys activity. So what can we say? We can say lah, your heart rate is higher or faster mah. Okay, you can say maybe pelajar D is a girl. Okay, so pelajar D mungkin adalah perempuan. Because we say student D, okay, might be like female because female usually has a faster heart rate compared to male, right not? Because girls, your heart is smaller compared to male. This is why. So your answer why the heart rate is fastest because she might be a girl. Okay, so C, state, nyatakan pemboleh ubah yang dimalarkan. You see, this question is very, very straightforward. Okay, very, very straightforward in this experiment. Okay, so you can say what are the factors that has to be constant in this experiment. Okay, so just like you say the gender will be different, so you cannot use gender really. You can say their age. Okay, their age must be equal because make sure this experiment is fair, right? You cannot say student A, I get it from 4 years old children. Student D, I get it from 18 years old children, 18 years old teenager. Okay, not common sense lah. Okay, not fair lah. So to make this experiment fair, your constant variable is age lah. Sorry. Wait, I spelled a place for me to write first. Okay, you can say umur and you can say age here. All right. So when it comes to here, state one hypothesis. Okay, so hypothesis, you ask yourself, am I able to measure, okay, this experiment. So you see, based on this activity, it is getting more vigorous, right? Okay, so from resting to walking to running. Okay, so the more vigorous the activity, the higher the heart rate. Correct or not? So yes, it is measurable. Okay, measurable. So we can apply the theory into it lah. Okay, apply not theory, sorry. Apply the format into it. So how are you going to explain this thing? You see, we can use semakin semakin lah. Okay, semakin aktif. Okay, jenis aktiviti semakin tinggi kadar. Just copy and paste kadar or kiraan kadar jantung. Okay, just copy and paste. You can copy and paste. Kiraan kadar jantung. Okay, it's okay. Okay, so for English, it's like the more the less. The more, okay, if you don't know the word vigorous, okay, you can say the more active the activity, the type of activity. Okay, the higher the heart rate count. Okay, you see what am I doing here is doing copy and paste. That's why I say you cannot like you cannot confuse lah. Okay, the MV and RV. Okay, so the question is saying about what? The kadar penelitian jantung biasanya dikira menggunakan jari. So usually we use fingers to measure the heart rate. Okay, so apakah alat bantuan? What is the assisting device to help you to count, okay, the heartbeat for nowadays? Okay, so which means using technology, how we are going to measure the heart rate. Okay, you can say sphygmomanometer. The sphygmomanometer is going to apply on this, or else we can think out of the box. You can say something that is not going to happen in ancient time, which you can say we use jam, yeah, jam pintar. We use smartwatch. Okay, of course, a smartwatch, right? You can use this thing to measure your heartbeat nowadays. You know, Apple Watch. Okay, they can do these kind of things. Okay, so you can say smartwatch. Of course, if you don't want to write smartwatch, what you can write? You can say, we can use the uh sphygmomanometer for sure. Okay, no issue. So question number two. Okay, a little bit different from chapter question number one. Okay, so the question is asking you, okay, you can see as well, okay, tell yourself first time lah, first thing, always get the MV and RV first. As I said, the left hand side usually is MV, right hand side usually is RV. You double check. Mengkaji kesan jantina, the effect of gender on the human pulse rate. So human pulse rate is my responding variable, yes, because I'm going to observe this thing. Okay, the gender is what? Gender is my manipulative variable. Yes, as well. Okay, this is the thing we want to know. I want to do comparison. Okay, so the question A asking you to do what? To calculate the average pulse rate. When it comes to average pulse rate, right? Okay, the word average means what? You have to take 1, 2, 3, 4. You sum up them, then you do your calculation. Okay, which means you add lah. 62 plus 60 plus 61 plus 59. Okay, then the total answer divided by 4. Then you get your answer lah, 60.5. Okay, so the other one you do it in the same method lah for the female one. So in the end, 64, 63, 65, 62. So the answer is 63.5 lah. Okay, you can get the prata in this way. But in exam, please show your working here. No working, no marks like me, showing the working here. All right. So then once you get the burrata already, then you know lah. Okay, male has a lower pulse rate compared to female. All right. So you come to here, state the hypothesis for the experiment. So again, hypothesis, you ask yourself. So this is the one we cannot do measure. Why? You see, I cannot say the more the jantina. Okay, semakin banyak jantina, semakin rendah jantina. Okay, semakin tinggi, semakin rendah. We cannot say. Okay, because it's not about the number of gender. It is about the type of gender. So from this way, right, when you cannot do measurement, when you're unable to measure, then you do what? You do comparison. So you compare, lor, okay, male and female, who has a higher heart rate, who has a lower pulse rate. Okay, so like you can just randomly change lah. Who I mean, who will be the first one doesn't matter lah. Okay, for example, I can say like lelaki mempunyai kadar nadi yang lebih rendah berbanding, this is your keyword, compare dengan perempuan. You got me? So this is my first manipulative variable. This is my second manipulative variable. Okay, what am I comparing? I am comparing the kadar nadi. So I can say it this way. Okay, lelaki mempunyai kadar nadi yang lebih rendah berbanding dengan perempuan. That's all. Okay, so for English, right? The way to answer is same as well, lah. Okay, so male has a lower pulse rate compared to female. Okay, so male has a lower pulse rate compared to female. So compared to, I think I'm taking these two things to do comparison. Comparison on what? On the pulse rate. So this is how you do the hypothesis whenever you cannot use the more, the less, or semakin semakin. All right. C, what is the responding variable in this experiment? So responding variable, copy and paste lah, pulse rate. Okay, don't hesitate because the answer is always, you can copy and paste one. There's no other answers already. Okay, so why is there a difference between the pulse rate of male and female student? Okay, so you can say lah, the reason is very simple, as we said, because female, you have a smaller size of heart compared to male. So this is why your heart rate is like higher. Okay, that's why you have a higher heart rate lah. Okay, so you can say female perempuan. Okay, biasanya, wait I have writing. Okay, kerana okay, so like usually girls have a higher heart rate because the size of heart is smaller than male. So this is the reason behind lah. Okay, so female has a higher pulse rate than male because their heart is smaller. Okay, this is how you leave the questions. So one more format that I wish to mention here is, okay, the question asks you, nyatakan operasi definisi. Okay, operasi definisi in here, for example, the question asks you to give operasi definisi. So how you're going to deal with this thing? So based on the format, we mentioned about what subject is a kind of what. Okay, so if the question asks, sila nyatakan operasi definisi bagi kadar nadi, then how you're going to answer? Okay, so you have to write in this way. This one is not going to happen in your seminar note lah. Like somehow it will appear in the exam. So that's why I specially take this thing out to discuss. Okay, so the way to answer kadar nadi pulse rate, okay, adalah sesuatu. Okay, what is pulse rate? You ask yourself. Pulse rate is a kind of process, a value, a phenomena, a principle, or what? You ask yourself, what is pulse rate? Or pulse rate is a thing. Okay, basically pulse rate is not a thing lah. Okay, kadar nadi adalah sesuatu nilai. Pulse rate can be a number or not. Can lah. You see, pulse rate is a number. Okay, pulse rate adalah sesuatu nilai yang menunjukkan or menyebabkan also can lah. Okay, nilai uh, kadar nadi lelaki rendah daripada perempuan selepas. Okay, got time or not? Got mention time or not? Okay, there's no time mentioned. Okay, selepas experiment. If there's no process or no time mentioned, then you just write selepas experiment. So I bracket for you the words that you have to change. Kadar nadi, based on the question subject is given. Kadar nadi. Sesuatu adalah sesuatu. Nilai. You have to ask yourself, what is kadar nadi? Okay, if you don't know the word nilai, you can say phenomena. Yes, kadar nadi. Okay, the pulse rate can be a kind of phenomena. Okay, yang menyebabkan that cause what? That cause the nilai kadar nadi lelaki rendah daripada perempuan. What is this? This is your observation. Okay, this is your observation, correct not? Selepas experiment. So the bracket words, okay, you have to think lah whether it's logic or not. Okay, so the bracket, the center part, this is your observation. Your observation, okay, your adjective, okay, your adjective, the subject, the process, or the time. So this is how you deal with the thing operasi definisi lah. A lot of students they choose to give up this thing because they say, very susah lah. But actually it is all about the format stuff lah. You have the format, you have the marks. That's all. All right. So we go to next one, question number 3. All right, question number 3. So again, you find the MV and the RV first lah. Okay. So come to here. Usually we say the left part will be your MV and the right part will be your RV. But here, okay, you can see things comes in a different way. Okay, a common sense, we know different individual, but how? What is the real difference between them? Okay, the real difference between them is the age. Okay, they are having different age. So this is your real MV. Okay, so you have to scrub your eyes lah, make it very, very clear. Okay, ask yourself, if you really don't know, right, you double check lah. Double check with the question. Okay, you see, the image also show already. Okay, when you want to do double check, right, 3 part, usually 2 to 3 part can let you to do double check one. One, table. Table will tell you what is the MV, RV. So if you want to do double check, right, okay, somehow the image, okay, the diagram will show you the second thing, okay, to verify your MV and RV. The third one is your question. So you see, mengkaji kesan umur ke atas kadar denyutan. So umur, kadar denyutan. So this is my MV and RV. Okay, so if you say that I very panic I scared I find the wrong MV and RV. So based on here, you see, you ask yourself again, do I have any chance to get wrong MV and RV? Actually, no lah, because already telling you everything, how come you can get it wrong? Rock, MV, and RV as well. Okay, so complete the table above by writing the average heart rate of individual C. Okay, so individual C, 92, 90, 80. Okay, so 90.5. Okay, so this is our average heart rate lah. Okay, 90.5. So B, based on the table above, which individual has the highest heart rate? Okay, so you see, this question is again asking you observation. So based on observation, individual C lah. Okay, individual C. Okay, we have the highest heart rate. Okay, and the question asks you to give inference. Okay, inference, we mentioned before, inference has its own format. Okay, inference format means the observation plus your manipulator variable. Okay, so you see how I write the inference. Okay, individu C mempunyai purata kadar denyutan jantung. It's okay. Kadar jantung yang paling tinggi. Okay, kerana. So the one before kerana, right, is my observation. Okay, on my kerana, after my kerana is what? Okay, because MV. Look at C. What is the MV? Because it is she's the youngest, correct or not? Because she's the youngest. Kerana umur dia paling kecil. Okay, that's all. This is my MV. Because the age is smallest. Or else okay, say because the age is 9 years old. Also can. Sebab umurnya 9 sahaja. Can. This is how you answer the inference lah. Then the question asks you okay, nyatakan pemboleh ubah yang dimalarkan. Dimalarkan means the response, the constant variable. What is the constant variable in this experiment? So based on the image, we can see the constant variable between them is gender lah. So you see the marks go into your pocket already. Simple, ABC. Okay, lastly, how to find the pulse. Okay, this one, there's no any hesitation on this question lah. Okay, so take it. Okay, so this is how you go through with the experiment question in bahagian A. You'll see we went through the inference, we went through the observation, we went through the hypothesis. Okay, so we went through all the stuffs lah. Okay, in your bahagian A. Okay, so somehow, of course, because you know, right, one thing you have to know in your upcoming exam, because you are just covering from chapter 1 to chapter 4. Okay, so the only thing that can be coming out in your experiment question, okay, is your chapter 3. Only chapter 3, they can ask you the experiment question. Okay, from chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 4, there's no experiment question to ask lah. So, you can shorten the range here. Okay, so we don't go through the rest bahagian B first because we have one more thing called bahagian C. So you go to the last page and you look at this thing. Okay, section C, as I said, there is a compulsory question and one optional question. Okay, so from the for the compulsory question, right? Okay, you cannot choose like I don't answer. You cannot. Okay, you must answer the compulsory question. And for the optional question, you can choose one from two lah. Okay, just choose whichever that is feel like you have more confident. Okay, to write lah. So you see they are all asking about the experiment question in your chapter 3. Okay, so quite simple lah. So we go to the question number 1 first, okay, because question number 1 is very, very general question lah. So usually the question will ask in this way. Later on, I'll show you because in your compulsory question, right, usually they have 2 different format. Okay, but the difference is actually very, very minor lah. Okay, most of them are still same. So you see, okay, read the question first. Always read the question first. Okay, They say Darius, okay, follow his younger brother and his mother to climb the climb the stairs, okay, and then once he reached home, he figured out his mother, okay, is keep on gasping, okay, and his brother is breathing like usual. So he wants to investigate the difference between the mom's pulse rate and the younger brother's pulse rate. Okay, so the question is here. What is the MV and what is the RV? So now you are going to compare the mother and the younger brother, right? So the greatest and the most obvious difference between them is not gender, it's about the age. So from here, we'll know MV is your age because the question is showing you one is mother, one is younger brother. Okay, so for RV, very simple lah. Okay, umur and your kadar nadi. All right. So once you got the MV and RV, then you go to the first one. Okay. So just now we went through the format stuff, right? The format says when it comes with the problem statement, pernyataan masalah, what you have to do is you ask question. You ask question. Okay. Look at the format. The format says when you answer pernyataan masalah, the format is how does the MV affect the RV? So the way to answer is somehow like this, huh? Okay, so for English is something like this lah. You see, to deal with this sort of question, right, just ask a question. How does the MV affect the RV? So my MV, as I said, you already know the MV is age, the RV is pulse rate. How does the age affect the pulse rate? Okay, so mempengaruhi. This word, right, I believe in your sejarah mostly appear one lah. So not to say not familiar, okay? So must be very familiar on this word, right? Okay, so B, suggest one hypothesis to investigate the above statement. Okay, so what is the hypothesis here? Same lah. Okay, ask yourself, can I say the higher or the greater the age, okay, the slower the pulse rate? Yes, okay, why not? Because we say okay, when you get older, your heart become weaker, then your pulse rate becomes slower lah. So of course, this one is measurable. So you see, again, hypothesis, just apply what we went through just now. So semakin uh you can say besar, tinggi, whatever lah. Semakin semakin. Okay. So in English, the greater the age, the lower the pulse rate. Okay. So you see, it comes in this way lah. All right. So C, the question will ask, okay, you have to base on the statement that given. So you see, okay, we have to base on the statement given. So you cannot randomly pick your own topic lah. Okay. So design a laboratory experiment, okay, to investigate the hypothesis, okay, using the stopwatch, and the description has to be include the following aspects. Okay, so based on here, you have to include the aim, okay, blah, 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 blah. So based on the format, right? Okay, we already got the MV and RV. So just fill in the blank stuff. Okay, the format says what? When you have to answer the aim, okay, matlamat, tujuan, same thing lah. Okay, the way to answer is untuk mengkaji hubungan antara MV, MV is your umur, dan RV, umur dan kadar nadi. Full stop. Okay, so in English, to investigate the relationship between age and house rate, then full stop. So just applying the format into the questions, then you score the marks already. Okay, identification of variables. So from here, right? Okay, when the question asks you to identify the variables, as you can see, only 2 marks is given, but somehow we don't give two things only. We have to give it all. Just give 3 of them. Your pemboleh ubah dimanipulasi, pemboleh ubah bergerak balas, pemboleh ubah dimalarkan. Give all of them. Of course, you don't write in this way, short form. You write in full. Okay. So manipulated variable, age, umur. Okay. RV, your kadar nadi. And of course, constant variable from here, we have to say to make sure the experiment is fair, you have to make sure they are using they are not using, sorry, they are doing the same activity. Activity yang dijalankan. So you make sure the thing is here. Okay, so English same thing lah. So I don't really like repeat it on the English stuff lah. Okay, so the MV, CV, and the RV just make true. The point is here. How do you score the next one? Procedure. Okay, prosedur dan kaedah. So 4 marks is here. You know, 4 marks is considered very, very big already. So how you are going to construct this thing? Okay, different scenario, you have to write different words. So there's no standard answers here. But however, I can give you a guideline on how do you sketch out these 4 points. Okay, so the first thing, what you can write among these 4 points, the first thing that you can write is prepare. Okay, this is your first answer. You can write down the preparation. How many people I can prepare? I have to prepare. Okay, what is the apparatus? What is the material that I have to prepare? Okay, for example, the question says that you have to prepare the stopwatch, right? So you have to write prepare 2 people with different age and and a stopwatch. Okay, so the second one is your step. Okay, step lah, not steps. Step. Okay, you're at step 1. It's like, hey, you ask them to do something. You ask them to do something in the experiment. Step 1. Okay, the third one is you can write step 2 or okay, you can say repeat or you can say time. Okay, you can mention step 2. For example, after they run here, you ask them to run there or what. Okay, so or else you can say you repeat the step 1 for to get accurate result. Okay, you can say it this way. Or else you can say time. I ask them to run. Just so step 1, you say I ask them to run. Then ask them to run for how long time? 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Okay, you mentioned about the time. The last sentence is fixed. Okay, the last sentence is what? It's about record. Okay, uh record the result with what thing or after what time. record the result after 10 minutes. But if you mention already the time is if you already mention the time here, then it doesn't really matter if you mention the time again on the fourth sentence or not. Okay, just make sure lah. You write down the thing in this way. So in BM, I try to express once, okay, based on the procedure and qaida. So I'm not writing in sentence in English because different scenario you are using different answers, but I just demonstrate once, okay, how you're going to write down the answers. So for example, yeah, the first sentence you can say, sediakan jam randik dan dua orang yang berumur beza. Of course, we are talking about age, so you have to mention, you have to prepare two people with different age. Then the second point, okay, step one, which means what is a step one in your experiment? Okay, so dua orang itu akan berlari pada masa yang sama. Okay, you have to mention they have to start at the same time because this matter as well. You can say, oh yo, I want A to run today, I want B to run tomorrow. You know, different time, different weather will going to affect your experiment result as well. Okay, so two people will run at the same time. This is your second step. I mean, this is your second sentence. Okay. The third step, of course, you can say if you say after run, you want them to climb, you want them to jump, okay, up to you. Okay. So if you want them to repeat the stuff, also can. Okay, but here I choose to write the time lah. Okay. So dua orang itu akan berlari selama 10 minit. Okay, they'll be run for around 10 minutes. And the fourth sentence is what? Same thing lah. Record keputusan selepas minit dengan jam randik. That's all. So you score 4 marks based on the question lah. Okay. Of course, if you write in a more professional way, write more detail. It's okay for me, but you have to make sure the points that written right is logic. Yeah, we have to make sure the points written is logic lah. Okay, otherwise you also lose the marks as well. Okay, so this is how you construct the 4 points. Okay, in different scenario, you can apply this thing as well lah. So maybe you can write down this thing to remind yourself. Last one, tabulation of data, penjadwalan data. This one is very simple. Just construct a table without data, which means okay. Wait, I have something to reply. Okay, so this your MV left hand side umur. Okay. Wait, I just change your color lah. Okay, your RV is kadar nadi. Not umur. Yeah, umur. I thought it's jantina. It's okay. Kadar nadi. So umur, you have to write one umur berapa. For example, your mother is 40 years old. Then the kid is like 6 years old or 9 years old. Okay, then the kadar nadi remain empty. We don't need to fill in anything on the kadar nadi. So you score the mark lah. Okay, so if the question asks you change the umur to jantina, so jantina will be like one lelaki, one perempuan. Same, the kadar nadi Kada nadi remain zero lah. Okay, so this is how we have to deal with the questions. So, all right, then okay, this is your first format among the section C. When it comes to the other thing, right? Yeah, don't spam me first. Yeah. Okay, different scenario. You can see this one. Okay, but I would say this is second case in your section A. Okay, second case. But however, this case is less likely to appear in your first exam because you know why? Because there's nothing for you to sketch. How do you sketch a people running in the exam? Okay, not possible lah, not realistic. So less likely to ask lah, but somehow I don't know whether your teacher will construct a very simple experiment and ask you to sketch it out or not. Somehow it appears in this way. So everything is just same. Okay, hypothesis. You construct hypothesis law. Manipulative variable, you construct law. Responding variable, you control. But the point is what? How to control. Okay, when the question comes to how to control, okay, cara untuk mengawalnya. Okay, so the answer is what? So you give the MV first. Then how do you control? The answer is to make sure. Same as the one precautionary steps lah. Okay, make sure. Make sure your MV is different. Okay, this is how you answer. Memastikan MV adalah berbeza. Okay, so when it comes to RV, same. Okay, make sure memastikan your RV, okay, what is it? Diukur beberapa kali. Make sure your RV is measured for a few times because you want to make sure RV is accurate. Okay, so make sure the way to control is make sure to answer lah. So somehow the question using different format, they ask you to prepare material and apparatus, which means they will not give you any material apparatus. You have to spawn the material and apparatus that is applicable in the experiment by your own. So you think, what are the materials and the apparatus that is going to coming out in the experiment? Then you write all them down. Okay, you write all of them down. Okay, so then in the end, after you wrote all of them down, then you have to sketch the apparatus and the label material. You have to sketch all the things, right, based on the uh based on the apparatus, based on the materials that you provided before. You got me? So for example, in here you give test tube, you give beaker, you give tripod stand, you give all of these things here. Okay, so in your drawings of apparatus, right, you have to use all of them in the experiment. So maybe for example, okay, the oxidation of apple. Then I have to write apple slices. Okay, so this is my apple. Okay. Then this one is apple slices with lemon juice. Okay, then you have to put your labeling lah. This is your beaker. Okay, this is your apple. This is your lemon juice. Okay, so this is how you're going to sketch those apparatus stuff and the label material. Just make sure all of the materials that you are prepared, that you mentioned before, is applied on the experiment, applied on the drawings. Okay, so but as I said, less likely to appear in the exam this time because we have got nothing to sketch, but just preparation lah. You never know whether your teacher is psycho or not lah. Okay, last thing, safety precautions. You say safety precautions, we mentioned this thing in the format, right? To make sure the investigation is fair. Investigation is fair means your constant variable. So make sure, memastikan your pemboleh ubah dimalarkan adalah sama. That's all. Okay, so easy marks usually you see. Okay, that's what I say. You have to make sure you are able to secure all the marks that we mentioned because it is just format based lah. So what we discussed just now, it worth 30 marks in your first exam. 30 marks in the science. Okay, so depends or not lah whether we want to catch it or you want to just leave it. Okay, so if you got any question, right, regarding the format stuff, you can ask me now, or else you can ask me later as well, lah. Got problem or not? Got any question or not for the experiment stuff? No, wow, so steady. Okay, okay, okay. Good, good, good. Then the rest time, we spend time on this thing. I'll just show you on the mindset. How do you answer the social scientific issue stuff? Because this is still the stuff that a lot of students they give up. You go to question number one, page 28. Okay, I'll just use one language to express this thing. Okay, since the one I'm going to deliver is just mindset. Okay, so yeah, regarding this thing, right? Okay, social scientific issue on energy sector. Okay, so state two negative effect. Hey, wait Okay, two negative effect on the social scientific issue. Okay, towards the environment. Okay, so no need to explain because just ask you to write two negative effect. So you can say one, pencemaran udara. Okay, yeah, two, what you can write here? Kesan buruk. One more kesan buruk. You can say what? Kesan rumah hijau. Okay, or else you want to say pemanasan global also can. All right. Wait, let me think something. Oh yeah, okay. Okay, I suddenly pop out something. I almost forgot to tell you this thing. Okay. Uh, you see, just now we went through section A and went through section C, the compulsory question. Correct or not? 10 marks ma. But okay, section C, we got one optional question. Optional question, worth like you have got 10 marks and 10 marks. Just choose either one you feel comfortable to answer. But meanwhile, in your seminar book, right, we don't have this optional question to answer. But I got one example. Wait, let me show you because this one you have to know the format as well. Yeah, this one. Just erase everything first. Okay, so but this one I don't have the format of this one in BM language lah. Okay, so I'll just present you the English one. Okay, but anyhow lah. Okay, the concept is the same. As long as you understand the language lah. All right. So question 9, as you can see, they ask you, this is the optional question. Okay, usually it worth around 10 marks lah. Okay, not to say yeah, not to say this one. This one is like 12 marks. Okay, usually it's 10 to 12 marks. Depends on how your teacher give up, allocate the marks lah. Okay, so usually you see, they say state two information should be observed when the fire extinguisher audits is being carried out at school. So what is the thing you have to get like notified whenever you have to do audit on this thing? So one, this one is based on your knowledge lah. Okay, one, tarik luput. Correct or not? So this is a format lah. But okay, in here we don't write in point form. I give you point form is because like time issue lah. Okay, but however in your exam, right, they give you full scape paper to answer this one. So you have to say lor, okay, what is so called? Informasi yang perlu diperhatikan, okay, apabila pemadam api, audit pemadam api dijalankan dekat sekolah adalah tarik luput. Okay, then seterusnya. Okay, seterusnya. The second one is what? Okay, you can say lah. Jenis pemadam api. Okay, jenis pemadam api juga perlu diauditkan. Okay, di dalam sekolah. Okay, untuk memastikan keselamatan murid-murid dan cikgu lah. Okay, so you write in complete sentences. All right. So B, they ask you, you see, another kind of fire extinguisher. This fire extinguisher is not the one we know. It's so-called fire blanket. Okay, so fire blanket in BM called selimut api. So this selimut api, they ask you, state two advantages of the device to save the victim. Okay, so to save the victim, what is the advantage of having this thing? So one, this one you need elaboration, huh? Because if you didn't write elaboration, let me explain to you soon. Okay, what is the benefit of using fire blanket, okay, to save people? Ringan, correct or not? Ringan. But if you write ringan, okay, what is it called? Advantage. Kebaikan, okay? Kebaikan menggunakan selimut api untuk menyelamatkan seseorang adalah ringan. Full stop. Then you expect here to get 1 mark? Not really, huh? Okay, you have to further explain. You can say selimut api, okay, uh, ringan dan lebih senang diangkat apabila digunakan. So you explain, okay, yeah, it is so light and it is very easy to take up whenever you're using this thing. So yes, this is the advantage, okay, to use this thing. So second advantage is what? Okay, mudah diguna. Easy to use or not? Easy, you open the blanket, you just cover this thing on the victim's body. You then that's all. There's no next step already. So mudah diguna. Then you say lor, what you further elaborate lah. Selimut api senang diguna berbanding, again I do comparison, pemadam api. Okay? Ia hanya perlu diletakkan atas api selepas buka lalu dapat memadamkan api tersebut. Okay, so this is how you have to elaborate. Okay, please don't mind to write more words lah. Okay, use some stupid language like me because my BM is actually not so good. Okay, so you see, I try to use simple language to express out the answer. Okay, so only have to put on the fire after you open it. Okay, so that you can put off the fire. Simple. All right. So this is how. Okay. So the question is when to do elaboration, when to give huraian. Okay. Why this one I don't need to give huraian? Because you ask yourself, tarik luput, should I explain about the tarik luput whenever I do audit? Okay. No need ma. This one is just asking you to give information. You don't need to explain. But this one, if you say ringan, okay, if you are the one who marked the paper, right? Would you know how ringan or what is the benefit of being ringan? You don't know. So that's why you ask yourself, if I didn't explain right, seems the point is not so clear. That's why you have to explain. Then in this case, you give Ryan. Only you can secure the mark. Okay. So C, two types of fire extinguisher. You do compare and contrast between fire extinguishers. Okay, you see a lot of people they make mistakes here. Compare and contrast. You have to say what? BM is so-called bezakan, oh sorry, bandingkan dan bezakan. Uh, okay, bandingkan dan bezakan, compare and contrast. So what you have to give, because 4 marks is here. Okay, if you just mention the differences, so could you get the marks? The answer is no. In terms of bandingkan and bezakan, you have to give two things. Okay, so 2 marks for similarity and differences. Okay, so persamaan. Okay, maybe you can write in BM it's like persamaan. So the persamaan is what? Then you elaborate from this one. Persamaan. Okay, both of them are considered as pemadam api. Okay, they are pemadam api. They can put off the fire, can padamkan api. Okay, this is the persamaan. So in terms of the, this is just one mark. Okay, another persamaan is what? Okay, both of them can put out the fire that comes from solid. Okay, so you can say, boleh padamkan api kelas A. Okay, class A is about solid mah. Okay, so the first similarity is they are both considered as fire extinguisher. The another common characteristics is they both can put off, okay, the class A fire. Correct or not? So if you talk about differences, perbezaan. Okay, so we went through the similarities mah. So when you talk about differences, right? You can say lor. For example, I don't know to write water and foam lah. So many words. I use A and B. You can say A can take off. Sorry. B can take off class B fire. Okay, A cannot. B can take off class B fire, but A cannot. Correct not? Class B is about liquid. Okay, so foam can take off liquid fire, but water cannot. Okay, so B can take off class C fire and A cannot. Same lah. Okay, in terms of those gaseous fire, right? Okay, you can use the foam to extinguish them, but you cannot use water to extinguish them. Okay, so this is how you can score the 4 marks in terms of the compare and contrast. Very common questions in your Form 4 exam. So lastly, okay, the question asks you, provide ABC fire extinguisher at his business premise. Okay, so you justify the action. Justify means what? Justifikasikan, which means you give explanation on why he do this thing. Why he prepare so many ABC fire extinguishers, okay, in his business. Because, okay, which means you have to say lah, what is the benefit of having this thing? Okay, so 4 benefits. Of course, you can write 2 points, two elaboration. Okay, so in here you can get 4 marks, or else you can just simply get 4 points, can be accepted as well. So, first thing first, you can say murah. Then you elaborate a bit lah. You can say ABC fire extinguisher is cheaper than serbuk kering. Okay, two, eco-friendly. What is it called? Okay, it is not going to pollute the land lah. Okay, why? Because dry powder in the end you're going to pollute the land, but ABC is more eco-friendly. Okay, so the next one is what? You can say senang dijaga. Okay, then you say lah, this one is more easy to take care, okay, compared to the dry powder. Okay, this one usually you go maintenance once a year only. Okay, unlike dry powder. Okay. So lastly, you can say this one can take out most of the fire. Okay, boleh padamkan kelas A, B, C. Okay, this one can put off the fire class A, class B, class C. So that's why the name of the fire extinguisher is ABC fire extinguisher. Okay, just cannot take off the fire D, E, F, okay, G. Okay, not G lah. Okay, D, E, F. Okay, there's no D, E, F from ABC fire extinguisher. But it can take off most of the fire already. So this is considered a kind of benefit as well. Okay, so from here you have got 4 points. Then you do comparison with dry powder. Of course lah, if you want to talk about DEF, we still go for the dry powder. But ABC has its own benefit as well lah. So that's why these are so-called the justification of the action. All right. So now you know how to deal with these things. Okay, you have to write in paragraph. You better write for 1 point, 1 paragraph. For example, just now they want D. Okay, one paragraph, one paragraph, one paragraph, one paragraph. You make things clear, the marker will know, okay, how you are going to allocate your marks. So she or he lah, okay, will give you the marks according to your own like allocation. Alright. So back to here. Okay, nyatakan dua aplikasi teknologi hijau yang menyelesaikan isu tersebut. That's what I said before. Green technology is not just refers to a product, it can refers to your action as well. So if you want to solve this thing, right? Okay, so you can say guna tenaga solar. So solar energy, of course, it is able to help you to relieve this this pollution lah. Okay, solar energy. So two, you can write energy efficiency. Okay, mengamalkan uh kecekapan tenaga. You practice energy efficiency. So that you can solve this issue lah. All right. So, or else you want to say, or use label electric appliances, the one with 5 stars, 6 stars, you can say also can get the marks as well. Okay, you say use electric vehicle, also can. Okay, so C, sebuah syarikat swasta memutuskan untuk membina incinerator yang boleh membuang sisa plastik di kampung anda. Okay, adakah anda bersetuju? Wajarkan jawapan anda. So, you see, adakah anda bersetuju stands for 1 mark. Wajarkan jawapan anda, you have another mark here. Okay, so you bersetuju or not? Anyway, you see lah, we want to make an incinerator so that you can throw rubbish there. Okay, incinerator means something that burn rubbish lah. Okay, so of course lah, no, tidak bersetuju, tidak setuju. Then you wajarkan your jawapan, which means you have to give reason why you say yes. Because you can say, okay, the incinerator akan mencemarkan udara di kampung saya. That's all. No need to further elaborate already. So why I would say mencemarkan udara. Somehow, some of the people they don't know what is incinerator. Okay, they don't know what is incinerator. Then can I still answer the questions here if I don't know what is incinerator? The answer is yes. Because why? You see, no matter what I thought about, okay, incinerator is something I assume lah. I assume incinerator is something I throw rubbish there because already mentioned lah. Okay, so you imagine somehow that they want to make something to throw rubbish in your kampong. Okay, at least you can see no matter I throw or I burn, you always cause air pollution. That's why no matter what, I can still use this answer. Okay, the incinerator will pollute the udara. But in fact, incinerator is something used to burn the rubbish lah. Okay, so D, apakah dua tindakan yang boleh it's anda lakukan, what you can do as a community that is responsible towards uh the environment that is good lah. Okay, so how do you take responsibility on this thing, okay, to save the environment? So from your side, you can say what? Switch off the light before you leave the room lah. Okay, tutupkan switch sebelum keluar dari bilik. So you save energy lah. Or else from you can say gunakan pengangkutan awam. Okay, wait I go back to the first point first because you need to elaborate a bit. Untuk menjimatkan tenaga. So you save energy from here. Okay, you switch off the light for what? To save energy. So you use public transport for what? Untuk mengurangkan, to reduce, okay, carbon dioxide in the environment. Untuk mengurangkan carbon dioksida di persekitaran. So this is what you can do lah. Okay, you, Anda. Okay, sekejap ah. Okay, so E. Okay, so you see, Mutu, he's living in the what is it called? Industrial area. So industrial area usually will come with a lot of factories, ma. Okay, so he's having a difficulty of breathing and keep on coughing. So the first answer, why Mutu is having this issue? Okay, first point, why Mutu is having this issue? Okay, two, yeah, my screen is freezing again. Wait, let me share again. Okay, so the second answer is what? Okay, using your own knowledge in green technology. So green technology suggests how he can solve this issue. So green technology and how you're going to solve the issue. Excuse me. Total will be 3 marks. Okay, very sorry. So, okay, the first answer, why he's facing this issue. Okay, you can say lah, he's facing this issue because of pencemaran udara. But you cannot just stop here. You have to say pencemaran udara from where? Pencemaran udara dari aktiviti perindustrian. Okay, so the issue comes from the air pollution. Okay, that mainly from the what is it called? Activity industrial lah, the industrial activity. Okay, so the second point, okay, using your own knowledge. Okay, so through green technology. So you have to suggest what is the green technology that you are going to use and how he's going to solve this thing. Okay, to avoid or to reduce the air pollution. Okay, so you can say lor, industrial activity mah. So based on here, okay, you can say he can practice energy efficiency. Okay, so tu boleh mengamalkan kecekapan tenaga. Then how is your kecekapan tenaga going to solve this thing? You have to say lor, kecekapan tenaga boleh menjimatkan tenaga. Okay, dan mengurangkan pengeluaran gas toxic. Okay, reduce the production of toxic gas dalam persekitaran. Okay, so you can say that or practicing energy efficiency allow him to save energy and at the same time, okay, can reduce the production of toxic gases in the environment. So from here, you are able to solve the issue. So based on the question, you have to really, really, really read and understand what are the questions talking about. Okay, and then in the end, only you know what to answer lah. Okay, so my advice here, when you do your revision, please use. I mean, before your exam, I believe there's few weeks left, right? Okay, maybe 2 to 3 weeks until your exam. So maybe you can choose one day. Okay, choose one day. You take around 20 minutes. I believe 20 minutes is very easy to squeeze out. Okay, you do objective. Objective is just circling, right? Just circle, 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 circle. In the end, you do check. You check the objective answer whether what is the rate. For example, you do 40 questions. What is the correct answers? How many answers that you get correct? Okay, from here, you have to know. Okay, so I suggest you to do something like this. So plus you can spare some time to read the notes and the exercise as well. As I told you, exercise I don't want you to be like writing, just waste time. Okay. You don't write, you cross-check. Okay, you read the question, you ask yourself, am I able to answer? Or if you lack of confidence, you read the question, you read the answer. Read the question, read the answer. Okay, you come it together. Okay, so to maximize the efficiency whenever you do revision lah. Otherwise, you're going to waste your time and in the end, you learn nothing. So this one is the worst case lah. Okay, and we don't want you to have this kind of thing. So you do revision, but you do it smartly. All right. So any question here so far? No, no question. Okay, so all right, if no question, then I wish you all the best in doing your revision lah. Okay, hopefully you score well in your first exam. All right, see you next week. Bye bye.